Hey, moving, jumping, all around. That's the sound of the music. Where? The music in your town. It's the Normies with Marketa as well. She's not a boy, but she's here. Talking Normies
podcast.
Hey, burn.
We're inclusive motherfuckers. Our podcast is Talking Normies, not Talking Boys podcast.
Good point. And it wouldn't say Talking Boys, it'd say Talking Men. Speaking of, my name is Chris Sleepy Brown Johnson, because I'm very tired this morning, but I'm bringing y'all A1 content. Names down the table from the left to the left. Let's go.
This is Pat. How you guys doing?
This is Spidey.
This is Marketa. Hello.
The Velky Kluke herself. Let's go.
That is me, the big boy.
What's Peckney Kluke? Does that work?
Cute boy?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's me.
Klasny Kluke. That's my homie over there. All right. So I know what you guys are thinking. What the hell? It's a Wednesday. What are you doing with the podcast? We have switched with the ladies podcast, Super Secret Girls Club, and we're moving things around. Today, we are going to do our weekend catch up, but after that, we're talking about you, and then we're going to talk about our movie from the movie club, Jennifer's Body, where we will be switching out Marketa. Well, we'll get Marketa's hot take because she did watch with me last night for Micky, and then we'll be back at it. So, weekend catch up. What have you guys been up to? You bunch of chooms?
The same old shit. Working out, watching TV. I know I did something this weekend. What did I do? I did something this weekend, and I was going to bring it up on the podcast.
Did you go out and watch the Final Four somewhere? St. Patrick's Day, because your name's Pat?
No.
You didn't celebrate St. Patrick's Day?
Low key, I asked you Friday before we left the office.
Yeah.
I was like, what's the plan? And then after that, I went home and I slept. I remember that. And yeah, I slept that
So I had a comedy show with my aunt and to go to for her birthday. So we went to that. But then after we got out, it was kind of late.
So I know what I did on Saturday.
What'd you do?
On Saturday, I took my dog out and we went to the dog park in Broad Ripple.
Yeah?
And then I went to Broad Ripple.
Y'all meet any cute bitches?
No cute bitches in Broad Ripple. But I went to Broad Ripple and I realized that Broad Ripple does not look the same that it used to do when I was going back out there and party. It's totally different down there. It's like the whole vibe is different. Yeah. Like it is.
How is it different?
You hate it when I say this word.
Uh-oh. Here it
You
comes.
hate it. It's become more foo-foo.
What does that mean?
Exactly.
It's foo-foo. It used to be just good old days, get some good bar food, get drunk, there's bars, and it's like now it's
That's
just like
still there.
Yeah, it's actually
but
the
the
exact
food,
same bars.
No, maybe the exact same bars got the different owners because their food just became more foo-foo.
Is it because it's more expensive?
I think so. That too became
Because
more
I think it's
expensive.
just inflation.
Yeah, it's same food, just more expensive.
Yeah.
Well, fucking inflation, man. I tell you what.
Because I give it to you. I was just in Broad Ripple last weekend or the weekend before last, and I remember being like, everything's kind of the same and only slightly different in ways that I don't like as well. But I think it might just be that we're old.
I guess. I used to like going to Broad Ripple, and I didn't like going. It was not cool. And I went checked out my favorite head shop down there, and it was nice.
Nice.
What do they sell at head shops? Heads?
Heads.
Okay, yeah, nice. Yeah, I'm not
Cabeza.
old cabeza. What about you, Spidey? What have you been up to?
What did I do? It was Bria's turn for date night, so we went to Bria's turn for date night. Bria's turn for date night. We went to a comedy show.
Ooh.
That was a lot of fun. I want to say that was like the main thing of like my weekend. Other than that, we did the normal as far as like cleaning. We hit the gym, did some working out.
Mm-hmm.
So, what comedy show? What did you watch?
It was. Oh my god, I forget
Who came in town?
It was just a random.
It was random. Okay.
Yeah, it was amateurs. There was a oh my god, what is it? There's an improv group there too.
Oh, so it was just locals. Okay, I'm not expecting like Kevin Hart or something like that.
Nah, yeah, it was fun though. It was fun. A lot of locals.
Oh yeah. Kochka?
Well, speaking of comedy clubs, we went to see Lunel.
Oh.
And that was a lot of fun. So
Yeah, for anybody who's wondering, she's been in School Days, Hotel Transylvania, A Star is Born, The New Dolomite, Coming to America 2,
Who?
Block Party, Lindell. Here, this was what
Can I see a picture? Oh, I know her. She's hilarious. Yes.
She said some.
she's very raunchy.
Marquez was like, what kind of comedy is it going to be? And I was like, for older black ladies. It's going to be hilarious. And older black folks in general. I was like, but it's going to be raunchy. There's going to be moments where I won't be able to handle it in front of my mom and aunt.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was super fun, but it was also hella awkward to be with my in-laws there. And just, like, her talking about how she used to suck dick like a pelican.
I literally took my hat off and had to cover my face.
My mother-in-law sitting right next to me.
She reminds me of, like you just said, a raunchy version of Rhonda Spikes.
Wanda Sykes?
Yeah, Rhonda Spikes is also one of my favorite comedians too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was a good time. So that's what me and Ketty did, and then we grabbed a Irish car bomb. Which what's the proper word for that now? I know that Irish car bomb's a little offensive. So
For real?
yeah, apparently they say it's like calling a drink a 9/11.
Look,
It is.
How do you
how?
Do you understand where it came from?
It's the Irish made the drink. They
No.
And the French made French fries.
Yeah.
As an
No.
you can only get an Irish car bomb from an Irish bar.
No, you
No.
can get one from any. All right, so the drink is you get a cup of Guinness.
Yeah.
You drop a shot of Bailey's in there.
Yeah.
My bad. A cup of Guinness. You drop a shot of Jameson in there.
Jameson.
And then you drop the Bailey's in.
Both of them are Irish.
Yeah.
Drinks. So like I figured it came from Irish.
Uh-huh.
Or
But
Ireland.
so the history behind it, I believe, is that during the Irish Civil War, there were a lot of Irish car bombs being set off and blowing people up left and
Oh,
right.
you didn't tell me that, motherfucker. Goddamn.
Well, if you ordered a drink called a 9/11 in another country, you'd be like, oh, well, I don't know why that's offensive. We invented it, right? It's the Americans invented it because September
American
11th. It's
drink.
their favorite day. They never forget it, right?
Oh my God.
No one's gonna invent a drink called 9/11. But then if that really did, like, I'm not saying I'm not
Except
saying
for the movie we
it
just
happened.
watched.
It happened. So then why we make a drink? It does not make sense.
There's definitely a 9/11 drink out there.
No,
Oh, yeah, 100%.
We can Google how to make
Bro.
it.
And I hear it's the bomb.
the bar is gonna get canceled. There's a 9/11 drink out there.
You know what? We don't often take a minute to Google, but since we're on a tangent, 9/11 drink.
Oh God.
The FBI is going to be knocking at my door.
Immediately.
9/11.
But just the whole
Drink.
yeah, I did not know about the Irish car bomb. I didn't know there was a civil war in Ireland, and
That's why we have Northern Ireland and Ireland.
Well, listen, girl. I grew up in the United States, and my social studies class was not the best classes.
Yeah, we don't learn much
they don't
about
really
Alright,
teach us much.
So I'm gonna just put this on record. There's going to be a video coming out on the Normies channel soon, which is a trivia, and I was not there for that, but I heard you guys failed miserably at
That was
recognizing
terrible.
the United Kingdom being a country.
That was not me. I was smart enough on that
So
one.
let me just tell you,
Yeah.
those two islands that are like right north of Europe are two countries. One is the Republic of Ireland, I believe, and then the United Kingdom. And then the United Kingdom consists of 4
Kingdoms?
regions. England, Wales, Scotland, and Northern Ireland,
What?
which is on the Irish side of the Irish island.
So technically,
So the UK.
people from the UK are British, Scottish,
Well, it depends.
Yes.
They
and
could-
Walish.
Welsh.
Welsh, Walish.
Welsh.
So hold on. I've got the
cool.
ingredients for 9/11.
Oh my God.
Is it really? I was not sure.
It is Jack Daniels, Southern Comfort, and Jägermeister. Called
makes
the
sense.
9/11 due to the ability to bring people down with a couple of drinks, which is fucked. I also literally looked it up on multiple different spots, and I got the same recipe. So,
This is a real drink.
I'm not ever drinking that because that sounds death.
well, they're always talking about never forget. If you have that, you're gonna forget your whole night. don't do that. So moving on to lighter topics.
Yeah.
Yeah, the weekend was crazy. But what we also recently did was finish watching You. Who here finished watching You? Oh my God, all of you? Yeah. Including Marketa. She didn't raise her hand. I don't know why. She's defiant.
Yeah, I watched it.
She didn't like it.
So yeah, we're going to just kind of talk about season 4, the trajectory of You. What did you guys think about the beginning part, that like first section?
Sucked ass. It was probably like the worst. The first part was probably like the worst part of the You franchise. I honestly thought like when I was watching the first half, and I think we did a podcast on it too. I was like, man, it does not remind me of old You episodes. like the characters, like not just Joe, but the side characters, they don't even grapple you. They don't have any nuance to them, like compared to what we've seen in the past with side characters. Yeah, I thought it was dull, and I thought this was going to be the last season, and I was hoping it was going to be the last season. Like, I just want to be done with it. But then the second part, bro. The second part.
We're not talking about that.
Okay. I'll wait.
I like the first part. I feel like they were jumping kind of on the bandwagon of everyone doing the whodunit mystery thing. You know what I mean? Glass Onion and the first Knives Out and all that jazz. But I kind of dug it, and then
We'll talk about the second part. What about you, Katie?
About the second.
Well, I did for the first part. It did seem to me like they were running out of steam, and like it was kind of, my expectations were low, so I didn't. It was kind of like, yeah, this makes sense. I can see that this is unsurprising to me, and the second part then kind of picked up. So that was an interesting twist.
That first part was a really fun reaction, and I remember being like, oh, I don't know, we're kind of having a lot of speculation and talking about it, but then being like, man, this isn't gripping me the way it usually does. And I do think it really is about the side characters, because they usually do a pretty good job at showing me so many of these side characters that you love and then hate and then love again. And they weren't really giving me that with this, because I think a lot of these side characters were just bad guys, were into the aristocracy. I was loving a lot of Joe's hypocrisy, where he's always like, these rich people and this and like shit talking to them, but like he's spending his whole entire time with them, because he's a man of two sides always, which has always been his whole entire thing. And I wasn't liking that they were heroizing Joe, and then to talk about the flip, I remember watching it. One, we're about to talk about the second part, but two, I do want to talk about it in depth for a while. My little sister has always liked you, and she was like, Penn Badgley, and I was like, you know he'll kill you, right? And she's like, I don't know, he's still hot though, like, you know, I'm super she was like, I was like, hold on, do you like Joe or Penn Badgley? She's like, what's the difference for me? She's like, in those TikTok videos, he knows what he's doing. And then just last night she was like, I don't like Joe anymore. And I was like, why? And she was like, just too many killings, like Nadia didn't deserve that. And I'm like, nobody did, but like,
no.
It was
like,
the 24th murder that did it.
It was something about him not killing, but framing Nadia that I think pushed a lot of people off of him finally, which is weird.
That did not make sense. That does not make sense to me.
But anyway, part two. Who saw the him being crazy thing coming?
I did not see that.
He been crazy.
Yeah, I did not see that whole crazy thing coming, but I think you did. You called it, and then when you called it, it all made sense. I actually enjoyed that, because it was like you just said, it seemed like the show was running out of steam and they needed something else to bring it back. And I think that was a good twist to bring it back. And like, cause like when that twist was revealed, I was like, oh fuck, all right, this is dope. I do wonder how they're going to move on from here, because the first part looked like they were running out of steam, and then this twist was the only real thing that brought the show back to me, at least for me. So next season, what are they going to do different? Because apparently they want to do something different every season, because they just can't go back to murdering people.
They're already right back to it. He's married into another rich family that can cover up a murder. Like,
but way more murders than before.
Right. This motherfucker can't keep getting away with shit. Like, it's not gonna get
And he also does not feel guilt anymore. Like that was the one thing that was kind of holding him back. And I just don't know what he's gonna do in season 5. And also him being having this amount of privilege is just like almost unwatchable for me.
Yeah, I agree with I don't like him having all I like it because it's gonna be good TV that he's gonna have all these resources to literally get away with murder and do whatever he wants the way he's been doing. But I don't like it because it's a cheat code. And I don't know. And on top of that, it's like, man, this guy is so lucky. He always works himself up to being like, he went like every step of the way. He walked up the stat ladder of being the class system, and now, man, he's at the top of the level. And man, I told Chris, man, if this was like another guy, like Joe was like a black guy or a brown guy or somebody else, man, I don't think like
he'd be in jail.
He wouldn't be able to climb up the steps the way
he'd have been dead season 1, episode 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would not be able to climb up the steps the way he did.
Do you guys remember that? Spidey, I'm sorry, because I do want you to get the point, but I just want to. Do you guys remember that movie or the TV show we watched? I don't know, you watched it with us, Spidey, but maybe you did. It's called Last Night or The Last Night. It's about
Oh my God!
what's the actor's name? Is it Nazir Khan?
Nazir Khan.
He stays out all night. He like goes to parties for like one of the first times ever. He's like a good Muslim boy, but he goes and like hangs out with his friends, drinks, party, gets fucked up, fucks this girl and shit. And the next morning he wakes up, and I think he wakes up and she's dead, right? Like the door is unlocked, and like it's did he do it or did he not do it? But like he's a brown kid, she's a white girl, whole fucking thing. That there you go. That's your perspective for what you would have been like. He'd have been like, oh, local black or brown man. Known for being around missing white women. He did.
That's a good callback, yeah.
But anyway, Spidey, yeah, your what was your take on this? On the second
part? Yeah, it felt like they kind of just copped out. It was weird that it was like Joaquin Phoenix Joker, which I liked the movie, but all of a sudden you're just like, oh, so you're just all of a sudden you got DID. Like it's what happened there?
He got the ace. Like he's got unlimited aces up his sleeve at this point.
And then he keeps winning. Like it's
So I really like it. I like it a lot because I see it as two ways. One, I think the writers and Penn Badgley hate Joe as much as I do. Joe's been banging his drum about like trying to sound progressive while still doing all the anti-progressive things, which I think is great. He's always about like, oh, the white male privilege, this, and that, but he's always benefiting from that shit, right? He's like, oh, class system and this race system, but he's always benefiting from that shit. And I love that, like, in the end, it's going to be this story about this dude who essentially, like, white privileged his way into becoming a billionaire who can do whatever he wants and, like, has killed all along here. And he's also got pretty boy privilege, too, like, let's not pretend. So he's got all those things working for him. And then for the show to be like, oh, yeah, you're crazy. I didn't feel like it was a cop-out because when he's talking to his version of Reese, he's like, when did I lose my mind? He's like, probably that first murder, my guy. Or maybe that second one. Or the third one. And he just keeps listing murders. And it's like, yeah, like, that tracks. You're obviously a person who's not okay. Like, we hear your inner monologue and we know you're not okay. Yeah. And now that's being personified outside. And then for him to, like, when Marketa asked me, well, like, what was going to be the worst way that the show could end for me? Because she had already seen it, and I was like, well, if he figured out a way to get away with it all and become like a rich millionaire, like, I'd hate that. And then it happened. And instead of making me upset and knowing that this next season's going to be the last one, I needed to end with his downfall. And I needed to end good. Like, I keep talking about Game of Thrones and, like, what happens with Joffrey and how, like, that wasn't a good enough punishment for me.
No. Yes.
I want to see him get punished. I want to see him reap everything that he's sowed, and I want to just see him think he's on top and just get dragged. I want to see him get outsmarted. I don't want to see him dead. I want to see him in jail forever for the crimes that he's committed.
Yeah. I think is it Miriam?
Miriam.
Yeah, I think she's gonna come back for revenge all season 5.
Yeah. I don't think so. I think she just wants to be happy with her daughter. And if she did do that, I think that would be kind of weird. Like I would probably enjoy watching it just because of the revenge aspect. But I don't think it's like in line with her character.
I agree with you. I could see it. I could see it be in line with the character, but for someone who's been I think she was probably a part of like 6 months or a year from her daughter or something like that in a cage, and so like we all know how much she loves her daughter. I don't think she knew what she could have lost by being being around Joe. I don't think she wants to put herself at risk by just being associated or being around Joe, because she knew what could be like what she could lose, and she doesn't want to lose that. And
there's still Will Bettelheim, the guy who he stole his name in season 2 and got the fake passports and all that from him. There's a lot of people that know about Joe's dirty dealings. Yeah. And I don't want them to come together like the super friends, but like it would be cool if like if Nadia just found a way, maybe through her boyfriend's parents who have money, to like get funded to just do like investigative reporting, and Nadia just stays low key the whole time. She's in the background of every scene, just like building this case, and like they try to out him, but like we know how the system works, and like it'll protect Joe because he's got so much money and shit now.
You guys remember Ellie?
Was that the stalker?
No. Ellie was Delilah's sister.
Delilah's sister, who
Wednesday Addams.
I think she lives in Florida now, and like Joe occasionally sends her money.
He used to, but he stopped.
He stopped.
Yeah. So
because
he just didn't. He stopped thinking about her once he had to run away from a murder.
He faked his death, didn't he?
He even forgot about Marianne. So why are we surprised?
Yeah, I kind of hope is if they're gonna bring like a whole revenge into it, the only person that's gonna bring revenge is Nadia, because that makes the most sense. But even that does not make the most sense, because Nadia's smart. Don't get me wrong, she's smart, but she is not street smart, and she does not handle herself well under pressure, like in intense situations. So
self-preservation says don't fuck with Joe.
So I just don't. She needs to like. There needs to be an arc for her to overcome that. Then I could see it being more realistic. Other than that, I don't even like. Yeah.
But I think she also wants to be like. I think that the journalism aspect is really strong. She wants to be a good writer, and she has a perfect story. So whether she adapted into a fictional story or whether she pursues it as a journalism, then I think that's her way towards like making it. Because we also like we saw her being like in poverty and having like 50 jobs.
Yeah.
So and like having like those offhanded remarks about rich people, like she wants to be rich. I mean, she wants to do well for herself.
Yeah.
So I think that, this is like story of a lifetime. She needs to cover it somehow.
So maybe she covers it and she writes a story based on it and she gets off of that. But I need to see, for her to kill him or arrest him, I need to see an arc. Like her to handle herself well in like tense situations or like whatever. Because like I just felt like she wasn't handling herself well.
I mean, how would she? Why would she know? Who knows how to? She's not from a place where she would know how to deal with a killer.
Yeah.
And
I need her to become like Margaret Atwood famous and then drop on everyone that this is a real like story inspired by real events and that the murder is still out there. I want that to happen.
So there, to move away from the story for a hot second and talk about a meta take, Pat was, he said a certain something when we found out that Joe was doing less sex scenes because it was making his wife uncomfortable.
Oh yeah.
Well, Pat, what did you say?
I said this. Listen, Joe makes his money off of the show.
You mean Penn?
Penn Badgley makes money off of this show. This is what Penn Badgley is known for. The reason why he's on the map. You should just let him do the goddamn sex scenes. He's getting paid for it, and you still get to fuck him at home afterwards. Just let him do it. He's getting paid for it. It's not that big a deal. He's a goddamn actor. It's part of his job.
Spidey, retort.
Okay.
I think it's noble of him to do less sex scenes just because his wife asked.
We don't know that she asked.
You said she did.
We said that it made her uncomfortable, and so he says he's doing less.
Oh yeah, I feel like that's super noble of him. I mean, if
that means losing your job.
So he's not losing his job.
losing his
He's the
job.
producer on the show. He ain't going nowhere.
Okay, he's gonna get another role after
this. There's no
this?
change or anything for it. Like there's nothing that's gonna make it any different for him to have less sex scenes in it. I don't see a problem.
The
He's
reason why I
weird
said the
looking
thing
for
is because
sex
I think there's
anyway.
going to be consequences. Like after this show, like he may not get other roles because his wife is dictating his career, telling him what he can do and what he can't do.
Are you just like
So
you're mad that he's not gonna have more sex in this?
no, I'm just saying I'm at a point where like he's an actor. This is his job. You knew this is what his career is like when you got with him. This is like let's say you're with a porn star. She's going to want to keep doing porn. You're going to tell her not to keep doing porn. Yeah, that's her job. That's what she's.
No, that's different.
How's that acting?
It's different. You don't have to have sex with people. Like there is, like sex scenes are not even filmed that you have actively sex with other people.
Yeah.
But like if your work is affecting your marriage or your relationship and you prioritize one over other, then you need to make adjustments.
And it doesn't matter what it is. For instance, let's say instead of sex scenes, he kept getting roles to play Hitler, but in roles that made Hitler look really good. And she's like, hey, I don't like that you keep portraying Hitler in a positive light in all your roles. And he's like, I'm an actor, babe. It's what I have to do. And she's like,
I would still be saying the same thing.
I feel like, for me, from both of them, I don't know. Even fuck it. If your job was at the steel mill and you kept coming home covered in steel flakes, and I was like, can you not? Can you switch it up? Your steel flakes are hurting me at home. I don't know, man. There's just options to be like, your job is negatively affecting your home life. Can we make some small adjustments?
I don't know. I guess the small adjustments, but it depends how uncomfortable she is. But like, man, you kind of knew the situation. He's an actor. He's gonna be put into situations.
Yeah.
I mean, like, wasn't there was a lot of sex in season like 2?
Yeah, he was fucking a hoe. I feel like that is one of the things I was actually kind of upset about. Like the titillation of all the extra sex scenes was keeping me drawn through the show, but they really drew out the will they won't they between him and Kate, and they finally got to it, and I was like, okay, like it had reasons in the story, but also like the meta reason for why he isn't doing it. It's fine, but the foursome episode is one of my favorite episodes.
That was my favorite episode too.
It ends in a bow and arrow fight, and you can't.
Yeah,
but like, I think that there's ways to still film sex scenes without it negatively hurting his relationship, because guess what? Your wife's gonna last longer than your job if you do your job.
No, listen, and that's fair, and that's good that he did that. My question to you is this: you just not a question, that's a statement more. You said sex scenes are like not even filmed.
Like people don't have sex.
Yeah, they don't have sex.
They're not required.
So why does it even matter to her the most? Then it shouldn't even matter to the most.
It just makes her uncomfortable.
But at the end of the day, he is gonna come home and he's gonna fuck her.
But
like, I don't like watching gore on TV, but because it makes me uncomfortable. But they're not really breaking someone's arm.
Yeah.
I just don't like seeing it. If I'm your wife and I'm like, I don't like watching that shit in these kind of shows.
But he's bringing the bacon.
Yeah, well,
matter.
There is still it's a small adjustment, and if we don't know that she asked him to do
doesn't get roles anymore because of this.
But guess what? He's the fucking producer. He's going to continue to get roles. He literally came up out of some Gossip Girl bullshit, came up out of the fucking nowhere, and is out here knocking it out the park. If anybody's like, we're not going to give you a role because you're not going to do more sex scenes, one, that's weird and sexist. Two, more likely to happen to a woman than it is to a man.
Yes.
And three, not going to happen to him.
True.
So
I didn't know that he was a producer. I thought he was just just a regular ass actor.
Boy, he came all the way the fuck up. His name is on the show. That's also why I've listened to interviews with him. I know Penn
He's
Badgley.
on the show. His name. He wrote the show.
Well, no, he's just he's producer right after all the credits.
Oh, so he's funding it.
Yeah.
Is it a book or it was a book?
It was. I think it is based off a book. Here's the thing.
I'd read it.
Penn Badgley doesn't like Joe as much as I don't like Joe. That's how I feel, and I feel the writers feel the same way. So I think that however this season ends, his head's going to be on a spike, and I'm kind of here for it.
Man, I remember I was watching it alone when Chris wasn't at home, and then towards when I saw that where it was heading was he is about to become a millionaire, untouchable 1% of the 1%. I literally just got out of my couch and I just started cleaning the kitchen, and I was like, okay, listen to the background. I was so upset.
I did come home to angry cleaning, and I was like, oh no.
I was so upset because I can't believe this motherfucker failed upwards so hard that now he's literally above the law.
It's bigger than God.
I hate it too, but goddamn, it's gonna be some good damn TV. I can't wait for that season because we're just gonna see nonsense out of nonsense, senseless killing after senseless killing, and he's not gonna feel guilty at all now. It's gonna be some good TV. One character I do miss, and I think he's dead. I hope somehow they could bring him back as Reese, because I love the dynamic that they have.
Oh, I think the actor that played Reese Montrose knocked it out of the park, and I think that he's gonna be his little talk to buddy.
Yeah, Reese was amazing.
Here's the last thing, Pat. A while ago, you essentially pitched this movie: a billionaire who can do all the bad things he wants to save the world. Is that Joe?
So
how is Joe saving the world?
So my pitch was there's going to be one billionaire, and the whole world is going to trust this billionaire to do the right things for the whole world collectively. But doing the right things sometimes means killing some people, getting whacked and stuff like that, because we need to reset the world.
Not whacked. Just straight the mob hit. But yeah, and I mean, Joe and Kate said they're going to focus on making the world better. And that's kind of along the lines of what?
Then I'm up. That's great, because that's what we need. Because billionaires are the ones have the money, the resources, the media to get shit done. Normal people don't. So we need them to. If shit needs to in the world needs to change, it's because of them. They're the ones who have the power.
What makes you believe that they will do the right thing?
Well, I'm hoping that the billionaire that we trust, we
Yeah, I'm talking about Kate and Joe.
I do think Kate will be the person to do the right thing, and I also think this is she is perfect for Joe. She's crazy, but she's not too crazy. Love was just too crazy. Mm-hmm. She is crazy enough to be with Joe, but not too crazy to have Joe be super bad. Joe's still gonna do his murders because that's part of him. He needs that.
Yeah, you gotta go to the gym, you gotta do your push-ups, you gotta do your murders.
So he needs that. But I think now the murders are gonna be more hey, let's. You know what? There's this mob out here is fucking the shit up here, and they're bad, and they're fucking up the world. Joe, go take care of them. I think he's going to be like a good hitman for her.
A fixer.
I can see that.
I don't know.
What do you two think they're going to do to make the world better? Or try to? Like
Nothing.
what?
I think Joe and Kate are both equally delusional about who they are and the quality of a human being that they are. I also think I see Wendy Bird energy in Kate.
Ooh,
And so-
from damn. Okay, that's
Yeah.
good. Wendy Bird. Will you explain who that is, Marketa?
Wendy Bird is a character from Ozark.
She's the wife.
She's wife of the main character. And I'm not going to spoil anything, but I see that in her, and that's probably not good news for the world.
Yeah, Wendy Bird is she becomes the kind of person who like raises money for politicians. How she gets her money is the issue, but she's like, oh, well, I'm doing
Questionable.
that because I'm giving this money to these politicians who are going to do
Yeah.
good things. And like on some like Mayor Carcetti shit, like how long can you keep doing that before you're just like, I'm in too deep and now I'm just
And I think that for Joe specifically, there was a moment towards the end of season 2 when he was redeemable, even after all the murders he's done and all the shitty things. And that was when he had the key. He locked himself in the glass cage, and he had the key, and he pushed it out. And he was ready to like
get caught.
go to jail, and serve his time or whatever. That was the moment where he redeemed himself from the things he had done up to that point. But then fucking bitch ass Love comes with her pregnant ass and a knife covered in Candace's blood, and she's like, I have a baby. And it's like, what?
Spidey, what do you think they're going to try to do to make the world better?
I'm not sure as far as Joe's part. I feel like they did a little bit of you see them like on interviews.
A little bit of trying to work on philanthropy.
Yeah, so I think she's going to, because her only burden was really her dad. She didn't like her dad. She didn't like all the stuff that she kept on messing up. And
he was super cool about murder.
yeah, he was down for it.
He was like, oh, that? Yeah, I mean, fuck yeah, I killed that guy. But whatever.
Yeah, he's like, you shouldn't have. You mentioned his name out loud. Like, what did you think was going to happen?
I'm the
I
fucking
was
boogeyman.
surprised. Like he just in a minute thought that was going to be like let's murder this guy.
Bro,
I
Dad's
feel
a savage.
like Kate in a group of filthy billionaires that are just all absolutely awful. She appears to be a good person, but if she's just like in a random group of 100 people,
She's the devil.
she's the one with the bodies on her.
I have no idea though. I'm hoping they do something.
I think they're gonna do some good to the world. I don't know. Maybe they have so much money now. They could literally solve world hunger.
Ooh.
Yeah.
They could literally.
They'd have to go broke to do it, and it'd be great to watch.
They're not gonna.
We don't. They might, or they could solve illiteracy. There's a lot of things they could solve. They could solve having people get like water. There's things they could do, and I think they have the resources to do so. I hope they do so because like I don't think Kate. From all of her billionaire friends, all her billionaire friends care about how they look and what they're all materialistic. I don't see her being materialistic. I think she doesn't care about the money.
She had them fancy draws.
She doesn't have to care about the money. She never knew that the concept of being poor is a thing. She does not understand what it feels like.
I will say this before we wrap it up and switch out characters. We're switching out Caddy for Micky. Is this? I think the show's going to go this route. They're going to show us how much money they have. They're going to show us how much good they can do. And then they're going to show us all the reasons why they don't.
Yeah.
Because the show has been beating this kind of like low-key progressive drum while still doing all the other shit. And I think they're going to have these billionaires here being like, hey, we're here to save the world. And they're going to like donate $100 million and that'll be it. Like they won't actually do anything. You know what I mean? Because Pat's right. They could fix world hunger. They could fix the water inequality. They could start fixing a bunch of things, right? Because they've got the money and the resources to do it. They will not. I think they're going to hoard that wealth. And I think that they're going to just be like, oh, we did a little bit of something. We did a little bit of something here. And they'll show how those things do like small goods, but under the big goods that they could all be doing. And I think that's kind of what they're going to go for. And then somehow Joe gets his dick cut off at the end.
I hope Joe does not do that because Joe came from nothing to something, and hope he still has the intellect to know.
Boy, money's going to change you. And especially a billion of them.
I hope he doesn't, because like Joe doesn't even give a fuck about the money either. So like, I hope he has the intellect to just give that money away.
We'll see.
I think they're gonna open up some charities and this, that, the other, but there's gonna be some kind of dirt in the back.
Like if they're multi-billionaires and they give away $100 million, that's like, oh wow. I mean, that's a lot of money to me and you. It's not a lot to them.
It's like $5.
So
I mean, it's still a lot.
I just want to say that Jennifer's Body is a superior type of content that over you.
Oh, will you tell us what you felt about Jennifer's Body before you go retrieve Micky?
I loved Jennifer's Body. I loved that I had no idea where it was going. And my favorite scene was the chicken on the floor. And she's just like, Jennifer, are you okay? And she's like,
That's an emphatic no.
that was great. I loved it. And I thought it was a well shot movie. And I watched a video essay afterwards and found out that it was like not well received initially.
Yeah, they did poor marketing and poor trailers. People thought it was like, people didn't know what kind of movie it was going to be.
People hated Megan Fox for the movie. And then they also hated like the kiss with the two girls. And I was just like,
what?
I don't understand
2009.
what people want.
Yeah.
I thought the movie was excellent.
Oh yeah.
But I will let Micky speak more.
And man, the kiss
Sweet.
was my favorite part.
Of course it was. Sleeper hit. All right. So Marketa, will you please go get Micky? So guys, Pat, I'm gonna show Pat a clip here, and I'm just gonna bye, Ketty.
It better not be the fucking
It's
same
not.
clip.
It's not. It's
I do not
Megan
wanna-
Fox Transformers, because I want to start the conversation off from there. Megan Fox Transformers car scene. You internet knows. The internet knows exactly what I want. So Pat said something a little bit ago, and after I show this scene to Spidey, just for a reminder, and to Pat as well, we're going to talk about it. You guys will be able to hear some of it. Let's see. So this is an iconic scene in Transformers where the car stops working. This movie's directed and shot by a human man person. So let's see. All right, here we go. Check it. Everybody's watching the scene.
Double pump?
It squirts the fuel in so you can go faster.
Oh. I like to go fast.
Yeah, put your headphones on, bro.
It looks like your distributor cap's a little loose.
All right.
Yeah?
Pat, are you familiar with the male gaze?
Oh, 100%.
Wiki.
With the male gaze?
Wiki.
With the what?
What is it?
Nigga, you didn't even hear what I said, did you? Jesus Christ.
Wiki.
Are you familiar with the male gaze? The male gaze.
The male gaze or gaze?
Gaze. Male gaze.
Yeah.
Okay. So when a movie is shot by a man usually, and there's a woman in it, and she's hot, the way that the camera like pans over her body, the way the camera like locks on to certain features, the sweatiness of Megan Fox in that, you can kind of see those little fine baby hairs. It's golden hour. She's leaning over. She's talking about injecting fuel in the camera. Ooh, really focusing on her. What is that? Like, what are they trying to convey?
How hot she is.
She's how hot she is, yeah.
Yeah, right? And that's what the director's going for. And then you said, what did you say about Megan Fox in this movie compared to Megan Fox in Jennifer's Body?
Oh, yeah. So I used to think Megan Fox was one of the hottest ladies out here in the world.
You saw her in Transformers first,
Transformers,
right?
yeah, for the first time. And then also Disturbia. That was, she was amazing. Disturbia, she was hot in there. And then I watched this.
So Disturbia is the movie where the boy's watching out of his window looking at Megan Fox next door.
Yes.
Okay.
That with Shia LaBeouf.
Also
Yeah.
Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah. Great movie. She was also amazing there and also hot in there as well. This movie, she's hot. She's hot. But it made me realize I don't think Megan Fox is as hot as I thought she was.
What if I said it's much more about the way the movie is presenting her?
So
From the female perspective.
I could see what you're saying, like, you know, like they were like the skate, but I think they were doing that in the movie too, like Jennifer's Body.
Not
like
nearly.
they were sexualizing her because she was hot in there too, bro. They
Weren't sexualizing her in the same way that they're sexualizing her in those other movies. In those other movies,
all the sex scenes, they were sexualizing her.
in those other movies, she's the object that the male character is literally looking at, and the camera's presenting it from the male character's point of view, right?
Even in this one, like you knew the high school guy who was getting this sucked, he wanted her.
So I know, but I'm saying like you got to think about the way it's shot. Like we would need to go back and look at the scenes, like every scene where Megan Fox is sexualized in Jennifer's Body versus every scene where she's sexualized in other movies.
Video essay.
they're going to be wildly different. And if you see them side by side, you're going to notice that, sure, it's showing her body and it's showing her unzip, but it's kind of much more of a like, oh, I mean, yeah, like she's getting naked, but it doesn't really feel like it's in a hot way. It feels like it's in a, I'm an animal taking off my extra layer of skin to eat you better kind of way. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, there are the sexy moments, but they're not presented in the same way. So I
see
think
what you're saying. So you're just saying like they're not really like the camera's really not focused on her.
it's not focusing on her body in the way the other movies focus on her body.
Her body just happens to be there, and it's still hot.
Okay, but I don't know, man. Like they were showing her titties, bro. They were focusing on her titties, man.
They were, but I'm telling you, I think we need to watch
She
them.
even gets stabbed and goes, "My tit."
Yeah, not exactly. Is that sexual? It's not really ringing to me as all. That's fucking hot. It's much more like
She got stabbed. Oh, this is
I know, but like she the way she talks about her own body isn't the way that like the dudes talk about her body. And I'm saying like even the way it's shot, they're giving you that same kind of energy where the camera isn't exactly lingering on her in the same way the camera lingers on other people. That's all. So we're gonna talk about the whole
So
movie.
can I also say one more thing?
Yeah.
So I do think I could agree with you that the way how they were like using the cameras to like make her look hot is different from the show. That maybe she did not come as attractive to me, but I also think another reason why she wasn't as attractive to me is that she looks like the goddamn same person. She hasn't grown.
Hasn't aged or anything.
Yeah,
She looks very
What?
different.
Hold on,
now.
that movie came out in 2009, bro.
Yeah, this is a 2009 movie.
So it would have been right around the same time as Transformers. and
Okay,
shit.
okay, then never mind.
Also, I thought you
I
would
did
have
not
been
say
into
that. I did not say that.
But also the movie was intentionally like the way her in between her meals she was like losing her
Yeah, she was not wearing
She was-
makeup,
she was
and she was
pa-
like her
she was-
hair was not good. She was, but
Right.
I also low key though, no makeup, Megan Fox, you still look good, girl. No,
So-
no.
All right, so let's talk about Jennifer's body and the general takeaways. I will say this. I think the movie had layers that I wasn't able to keep up with, mainly because I'm not a young woman with a hot body. I'm an old man with a hot body.
Yeah.
But yeah, I felt like the movie was dealing with some layers I wasn't able to keep up
Yeah,
with.
let's-
Why don't you
let's
guys
get
tell
those
me
layers.
what you thought about the movie?
I thought it was
Go
good.
down the line.
I thought it was good. I think this is one of those like second watch movies also where you probably pick up on something every time you watch it. I saw it kind of breaking some tropes with like this kind of like a teenage movie. Like the nerdy girl is usually the one that's alone and doesn't have anybody, but like she's in a pretty healthy relationship in this one. And it's like and it's like the hot girl's always getting the dudes, and that is happening in this one. I don't know. I guess my interpretation is I don't know. You're right. There were a lot of layers, but one of them would be, I guess, the value of a young girl's popularity and attractiveness based on how promiscuous she is.
Yeah, I did like that they didn't shy away from the sex thing. Like you get movies like a lot of like those teenage sex movies are like the sex is the taboo that people never really get around to.
This was the
when
most
Jennifer was literally
realistic.
like, yeah, like I'm not even a backdoor virgin, bro. Like I've done it all. It's like, I'm not like, but like she's flipping about it in a way that I think I've seen. I was a teenager, I knew teenagers who were like, yeah, I fuck, it's whatever. And like if you can master that role at a young age, you can master it. I'm not saying if it's good or bad or either way, but it's just like they treated it like it was very normal. Like American Pie is all about, bro, can we lose our virginity? And this movie was like, yeah, we're having sex like normal fucking
agree with
teenagers.
you,
It's not a big deal. What about you, Spidey?
I fucking love that movie, man. I've seen it maybe 3 or 4 times now.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
It's always fun to watch, like everyone's different perspective on it, because it feels like it's like one she becomes a succubus. She lies to the bands to let saying that she's a virgin, so it's not like she intended to become this way, and then she does become this way, and she's just like, I'm about to just start fucking people up. Like if they deserve it, they got it coming. She's nice to her friend, so you know what I mean. It feels like she could have become a superhero if they had done this shit right. She'd be
Yeah.
a better Morbius or something like that. You know, there was potential there, but and then with old chick getting the powers at the end, I would watch a second movie.
That's exactly what I said. I was like, this kind of warrants a second movie
Yeah.
with Amanda
Like, I would
Seyfried
fucking-
going off. Let's
Just
go.
going ham.
There was some potential there for sure.
Yeah.
What's that one movie?
God, we're not even gonna. If you're talking about Sucker Punch, I promise.
No, not Sucker Punch. It's also about superpowers.
Oh, Chronicle.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's one of my favorite.
Hey, Chronicle slaps. Give me some more Michael B. Jordan.
That's a fantastic.
Pat, what about you? What was your general takeaway? I remember you said just this morning you said you didn't enjoy it because it was a scary movie.
Yeah, first off, I didn't expect it to be a scary movie. None of you guys said it was a scary movie. No warnings, nothing like that. And I'm watching.
We will try to warn you.
I'm watching this at 12:15 a.m. This late night, dark as fuck. All right, downstairs watching this all by myself, and when I hear about Jennifer's Body, I'm like, okay, Megan Fox, this is gonna be a nice little chick flick or whatever. She's gonna be high. It's gonna be good, easygoing movie. Nah, it's like the first scene, you see that scary the jump scare. I hated that, and then I'm like, okay, so then why? Like my whole thing is like, okay, so I knew this was not gonna be like your high school fun movie, like comedy type movie. So I knew this was going to like go bad and like that's dark. So I'm like, okay, so why are we doing this podcast and why are we watching this movie? So that was going in my head. I'm like, it's connected to you. So then I'm like, oh. So my whole time I was thinking about the movie was going to be totally different. I just thought the blonde girl was the one doing all the murders and she was just making Jennifer up in her head because kind of like Joe was doing.
Hey, total possibility.
What kind of Joe was doing, just because. We were going to talk about this on the podcast. So I thought it was about the same lining, but then obviously 20 minutes left in the movie, I was like, oh, actually Megan Fox is real. This is all real. This is not just in her head.
I don't know. Maybe what if it was?
They can wreck on that.
Yeah,
I know because there's people that put Megan Fox, like they saw Megan Fox in real life, not just without the Bond girl being there.
So here's the thing too. You got to think about how the movie starts, and it starts with Needy in an insane asylum telling you the story, right? So the narrator is already like, "I'm in an insane asylum, and now let me tell you the story about how I got here." If a person in an insane asylum told you a story about how they got there, and it involved demons and magic and the bands and fires and all the people she killed, would you believe them?
True. Yeah. But the girl was so believable because she was like level-headed girl. She had a boy, like you just said. She was smart. She had a boyfriend. She was well together. So I was believing her. But anyways, the whole
just remember we were talking about earlier where you could see a movie and if you could back it up with the points, you could if you wanted to, you put in the work, you could back it up. Like she's
but then
crazy.
How can you follow the movie? Then you stop watching the movie. Then you're just in your head the whole fucking time.
No. At the end of the movie, when you think about it, when you think back about it, when you're running it back. But continue, please.
And so that's why I thought the movie was going. Obviously, it wasn't going that route. I did not like it because it was going in a different route because I was expecting the whole mental aspect, idea aspect of it. I did like the movie because it was different, like something like a concept I never thought of. Like, man, it was a girl literally. She turned into a demon because a band wanted to get famous, and they promised the devil, not even the virgin. They gave her somebody who was not even a virgin, so like the devil took revenge, and that was just the devil's taking revenge in her body and like letting it unleash in the world because the band screwed them over. I thought that was kind of cool, but that was really it. It was a scary movie, kind of threw me off a little bit too. I probably could have been paying attention a little bit better. But I was doing other stuff because it's a scary movie and I didn't want to pay attention too hard in a scary movie.
Called that.
So I dig it.
Wait, I have a question for Pat.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do when you have kids and they want you to check for monsters under their bed?
So this is where I'm hoping.
He's gonna tell him to check his first.
So I'm hoping I'm hoping I can do the monsters, the bed check for them because I should be able to do that. But I'm also hoping that my wife is stronger than I am.
All right.
You don't have to hope for it. You just got to find a stronger lady. You got it. Yeah. You've got all control in that situation, man.
Yeah, I'm just hoping she's stronger than I am.
So all of y'all think monsters is under the bed.
Oh, the whole house. They're gonna call you over, Spidey. Spidey, you check under all of our beds.
Listen, don't you guys get freaked out like when you're like sleeping and like one foot comes out of the covers?
No.
I swear, you guys are lying. I swear to God, right now when you guys are in bed, you guys are not afraid there's a bed monster, or like if your closet open and you don't feel like something's going to pop out of the closet.
This is why you guys need cats. My cat stays up fighting demons throughout the night.
Right? Yeah, that's what the cat do for you, bro.
Pretty sure that's what all that noise is.
The blanket is the unpenetrable barrier. You know.
Hey, look.
If my foot is outside, I'm in danger. If it's inside,
I agree with that.
See, I don't have a closet or an under the bed. in my room, so I'm good. So I think the movie is about a couple of things that I see, a couple of little like metaphors while watching it, and this is hot takes. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'll take it. I'm not a young lady. One, people want to use Jennifer's body. Right, the band wants to use it to get famous. Dudes want to use it for the sex. People want to use it for anal. Chris Pratt's character surely did. So people want to use it. Jennifer also wants to use her own body for clout and shit like that. She's even there with the band to do the same thing. And then in the end, she's an old succubus and vampire, and she's using other people's bodies essentially to stay alive and keep going. All of the murder scenes can be seen as sex scenes. She also fucks her best friend's boyfriend. My bad, eats. But like, that's the thing. That's the thing where the hot girl wants the thing that she can't have, wants the other boyfriend, yada, yada, yada. Easily can be seen as my best friend is perceived as prettier than me, and she's trying to take my boyfriend because she doesn't understand why I get to have him and she doesn't. Tight. We've seen that in other stories before. 2, period references. A lot of them. Right? But also, like, once a month, she essentially's got to eat a dude once a month. There's blood everywhere. I don't know enough about periods because I haven't had one ever, but like it's all there. The symbolism is there. I mean, it's right there on the screen.
That's fucking so true. But then why does he say that the PMS is made by the boy?
I don't fucking know if it is or not, but that's one thing she said. Who knows? I don't know, but I'm saying that the movie do, and if you're a young lady to be PMSing or what the fuck ever, you could probably relate to this shit.
Layers.
The fucking layers. 2.
But then that just show that movie puts PMSing in a bad light, periods in a bad light. It just shows if you have a period, you're gonna turn into a monster.
Or maybe people perceive that you'll turn into a monster.
Maybe perceived as a monster. Maybe the monster is the friend you made
all along the way.
We're the monsters.
So, other than that, great little horror movie. Damn, there was another fucking layer. I just think
I kind of like Pat's interpretation that it could all be her lying about it. Because they had a complex relationship.
Very sexual, very complex.
Wait, the 2 best friends?
Yeah.
Yeah. I couldn't tell if there was or wasn't attraction there, but obviously they kissed, so there was maybe something there from...
I mean, when they were holding hands at the bar, they were holding hands really tight.
Yeah, it seems like there was something there, but there's that complexity of like, she's perceived as more attractive and she wants the things that she has because she... it was a... tumultuous relationship, I suppose. So it could be. You could be right. It could have been her. Maybe she's like, and then she pinned it all on Megan Fox. It's very possible. What's more? I mean, we didn't see any other supernatural elements. So what's more plausible? Is it just some crazy person committing?
And you know what? The band was still famous. Technically, they failed the ritual because it wasn't a virgin.
I mean, they did fail it, but they maybe like failed successfully.
Yeah,
maybe the demon doesn't really care if it's right.
But they
here's Satan.
Megan Fox did kill the band at the end, right?
No, it wasn't Megan Fox.
Old girl
Needy.
Yeah. So that was my own. I have a question to ask you guys. So the fight that were Needy and Megan Fox were fighting in the bedroom, and before she got stabbed, that did not make sense to me. The whole fight, because they were in the air and shit, and then as soon as she took the necklace off, Megan Fox fell down to the ground. So like, did that necklace give her power?
But the necklace said "best friends forever," so maybe Megan Fox 1 was weak because she hadn't been eating. Right, and 2, maybe she's just like, oh, that hurts. Like I'm actually like losing my best friend. Also, keep in mind, she got a fucking demon in her body. She hasn't eaten a dude in a month. So like, she's just weak. I think it's symbolism. I don't think it was giving her power. But maybe their friendship was giving her power.
It was the power of friendship all along.
Because like, even though she was weak, she could have taken the girl on. Like that was a disbelief for me to see that fight.
But what if she didn't want to? What if she let herself get killed? I mean, we saw her in the house with her, and she was like, "You're afraid of me," and then she left. We've seen her holding back.
You said Megan Fox wanted to get herself killed.
Yeah, we've seen Megan Fox holding back from hurting her friend multiple times, and maybe for her, it's much more about like, dude, I'm a demon. I probably shouldn't be walking around here eating people. So then technically,
Megan Fox was a better friend than she was.
Oh, okay.
Megan Fox made out with her boyfriend and then killed him. So probably not.
Does society demonize hot people for being hot?
Yep. Ooh, I do agree with that. I do agree.
Pat
with
is one of the hot people. You agree?
I'm not going to say that, but I do agree. I do think hot people do get they sometimes like get a bad rep because hot people. I feel like people just like to hate on hot people because they get jealous, and people feel like hot people just get a whole bunch of special privileges, but sometimes they don't get special.
They get pretty privilege.
Not pretty privilege.
Can you talk about Megan Fox being a victim of sexual violence?
Oh, we haven't gotten to that part yet. No. Okay, thank you. yeah. Oh yeah, that too. Thank you. See, whamming. Hold on, Marketa, come back. Come, drop this thesis. I don't want to be speaking on your behalf. Come, you gotta lean in though. Yeah, lean in.
Bars.
Lean in.
Bars.
The thesis of the movie is regarding sexual assault, and Megan Fox is actually a victim in this movie. She is not the villain. Thank you.
Hold on. Well,
Hold up.
You want to because of the band, the van,
Yes.
the youngness of her buying drink, all those things.
But how about what she did to the high school dudes, the two of the high school dudes that she killed?
She was already a possessed demon person. She was dead.
Megan Fox is a status symbol for everybody else's desires.
Also that.
Ooh, yeah. Like people want to fuck Megan to say they did.
She's a hot chick. I want that hot chick to be my girlfriend. That's all she's good for is a hot chick that's my girlfriend.
The movie's called
She's
Megan's
a virgin.
Body.
I want that virgin for my
ritual
because that's what I need.
You're right, because no one actually got a chance to actually get to know her. Like no one, like they just wanted to fuck her.
Because all she was to them was Jennifer's body. Not Jennifer the person, her fucking body.
Do we
see? That's why I said hot people got it bad sometimes.
I don't disagree with that. I really don't. I don't disagree with that.
Could be hard. Could be
I
hard.
don't everybody's got problems. I mean, look, there are objectively just like hella attractive people out there. It's like they're desired by everybody. I can't. I don't know what that feels like. Like you walk around and everybody wants to fuck.
And they just want to fuck you. They don't want to get to know you. That's fucked up.
But
exactly.
hold on. There's also, it's a double-edged sword because there's pretty privilege too. Like being good looking does play. This is according to Brecht theory and according to studies, plays largely into getting promotions, getting jobs, and general privilege. Yeah. So like it is a double-edged sword. You want to find a study specifically?
No, not studies. Like, so I want to know, like, because like, if I'm looking at a resume, all right, and then there's two people. If an ugly person has a better resume, I'm going to hire the ugly person with a better resume, not just because a pretty person with a shitty resume.
That's you, but they've done this study before, just like with. All right, so I'm not going to find a study. I'm just going to give you a quick example.
You say that while you're reading the resume, and then you get into the in-person interview, and then you're like,
well, it ain't been an
real quick.
I want this person in the office.
Instead of even going all the way there, we have a study that we 100% know about. They'll put out the same resume, and it'll be a name like Lakeith Stanfield, and then it'll be a name like James Smith. Exact same resume. People are going to pick the James Smith one over.
Because that's racism is real.
So cool. If that's real, the pretty thing is obviously fucking real too. You gotta be like, motherfuckers gonna draw the line at racism.
In the movie, there were minors at the bar. She was like, "How are we gonna get alcohol?" And she was like,
"I'm gonna play Hello Titty."
Every girl does that though.
Play Hello Titty with
every girl could get free drinks.
Not every.
Every girl could get free drinks.
Every girl?
I don't think.
Depends on the bar, right?
Okay.
I mean, I don't know.
If I'm a girl, I could go get free drinks.
No, you can't.
Man, God, I wish you were a girl.
Good Lord. Good God, no.
Can we put that into action?
A day of...
Cut this man's beard, give him a wig. We got fake titties already. If you want to say it's that easy, let's go ahead and
I really do think girls could get free drinks.
But Marketa is... All right, so talk about... All right, so like the rape allegory is there. Right, it's right there. She meets these guys. They get her in the van. He gives her that drink. He has her drink it all up. We're talking roofies and shit.
Yep.
That is all there. And
100%.
then after that, she is a victim. She's killed. She's gone. There's a demon attached to her soul. She's a brand new awful person through no consequence of her own. She's on some angel shit.
I agree with that. I see that because like she did not ask to get a demon in herself. She didn't any.
Oh my God! Damn, is that a pregnancy thing too? Could it be?
Yeah, well, no.
I mean, if it's a rape allegory, she gets a fucking demon in her. She didn't ask for that.
Yeah.
What state she live in? So I think that's what I'm saying, man. It's like, you know how, all right, so like if I was gonna watch a movie like RRR and I need more context with it because they're talking about like the revolution that happened in India, it's probably best if I watch it with an Indian person who has those contacts that can give it to me. If you go and watch Amistad, it's probably better if you got a black person with it. I could have picked a better movie than Amistad. I'm sorry, that's just what I picked. But like watching this like by yourself from a dude, you're gonna get a certain perspective that you're not gonna get when watching with a woman, right? Because like, yeah, it's a scary movie that everyone can enjoy. That's the top. It's an iceberg, right? That's the peak of the iceberg. And as we go down, we see that there's different layers and layers and layers and layers and layers and layers that further not just understanding the movie, but understanding people. right? And I think that that's one of the reasons why we started doing this kind of podcast and started talking about like these movies like that, because sure, it's a good way to watch a movie and be entertained, but it's also a good way to understand the people that we share this planet with as we get further down that iceberg. You watch the movie, we talk about it, we see some more of the iceberg, and we start to understand more. And like Jennifer's Body is a really good example at giving us more of that.
I definitely see the layers you guys are talking about, like especially after talking about it now. I still have, I understand there's layers to this stuff, but like, man, it's still difficult to see the damn layers when you're watching the movie.
Yeah, I mean, you might not catch it the first time.
It didn't happen until conversation.
I didn't catch everything we just talked about.
Yeah, Marketa just reminded me of stuff. Like, no one gets it the first time. It doesn't matter if you do, but when you start talking about it and revisiting back to it, then you're able to see like those layers. Another fun exercise too is applying layers like that to movies that don't require it at all, which is hilarious. Like we could watch the Ninja Turtles and be like, it's actually about the social economical of the 1980s. Look at here, like, you know, fucking April's a TV cast person and she's able to have her own apartment by herself in the 80s. What happened to money since then? Like,
there's a great video just like that about SpongeBob.
Yeah. Oh my god. The Bikini Atoll. So I think that is one of the reasons why we do this, and it's fucking great. And I totally enjoy it. And I think Jennifer's Body is a sleeper hit.
Great film. Oh yeah, underrated, super underrated.
So yeah,
and I do agree. I think it's because of the way the movie was marketed, but I also think that marketing was intentional. They wanted the trailers to be like, oh, this is just another teenage movie. Yeah, I think because like sometimes you go into a movie and you're like, well, that's not what I expected at all, and then word of mouth takes over. That. And I just don't know if this movie ever hit that word of mouth kind of marketing, but like, yeah, it was good. It was great movie.
It kind of reminded me of The Faculty in this way, where you know that shot in The Faculty when has everybody seen The Faculty?
Yeah.
Okay, well, Pat, I'm going to spoil another scary movie. It's got Usher in it though, and it's got Jon Stewart in it.
Pat's never going to watch The Faculty.
All right, so there's a part. So my dad, we watched The Matrix. And I used to be like, yeah, I was like, is this going to be scary? And he's like, no, it's awesome. Like, we're going to watch it. And I love The Matrix. And it was like the same day we were doing a weekend where we weren't doing shit but watching movies. He was like, we're going to watch The Faculty. I was like, is it scary? And he's like, yeah, but there's boobs in it. And like, I was like, yeah. So I was like, all right, bet. You sold me on titties. And I remember like, so there's that part where the movie has not once taken a moment to try to sexualize the new girl, right? And even when you see her naked, I feel like, sure, 11-year-old me was like, oh, titties in a butt, that's cool. But like, you go back and rewatch it, like, it's not a sexual moment. She's like an animal in nature. She's like this fucking creature that doesn't need clothes, because what the fuck are clothes, right? Like, that doesn't mean anything to her. Cool, you might enjoy looking at her naked body, but it's inconsequential to what's happening. And I think Jennifer's Body does that too. Like, she gets out of the water from skinny dipping and it's much more like, I needed to wash the blood off, right? She's getting naked for the dude, and like all the also, it's shitty that all the animals were watching. Animals don't like devils, all right? Raccoons wouldn't be down for that shit, okay? Maybe some other animals would, but no, it's shitty.
I didn't take it like that. I thought the animals were just waiting for their meal, because like
raccoons don't eat people; they eat trash.
No, they don't.
But when
you saw a deer eating him.
Yeah, I mean that was some weird satanic shit. Deers don't eat people; they eat grass or carrots, whatever fucking deer eats.
Blood orgy.
Yeah. But so aside from that though, but like her being naked is like your dog being naked, like. You know what I mean? Like, she's like, oh, you might enjoy this body, but I really just needed to wash the blood off of me. Yeah, I'm taking my shirt off, but that's because that's how I eat the best. Like, it's not in moment. I don't know. In those moments, like it's weird. They do a really good job at it, and then we go back to Transformers, and it's like, look at her looking at this car.
You should have Pat watch Teeth.
Oh God!
No, it sounds scary. No,
probably not.
Yeah, she's got teeth in her vagina. That's the movie.
Yeah,
that's the premise.
You get to see vagina? No, you don't.
Bro, you don't ruin vagina for me. No, don't do that.
What? No, it's just like a mouth. You kiss a mouth, right? It's got teeth in it. Do you put other things in mouths and it's got teeth in it? I mean, that's all. Anyway, so check it out, y'all. We're getting ready to wrap up. I want you guys to stick around for the raid. Micky won't be here next week, but we're going to watch Ex Machina.
Ex Machina.
Hey, Marketa, did I ever get you to watch Ex Machina?
Dude, Ex Machina is great.
All right, we might have either Marketa or Surge on here for that.
The week after.
Yeah, Ex Machina is a good one.
Fantastic movie. Fantastique.
And even though we're still in our little themed month, we're keeping it going. So Ex Machina, I think, is going to hit some interesting topics, interesting things.
It was going to be Changeling, but I refuse to be missing for that.
And then we're going to watch Changeling the week after that.
Changeling.
So I do have a question for you guys. Are you guys, and by you guys I mean the people who are currently live with us on Twitch, Also, anybody who's watching this on the back end, feel free to hit us up on Instagram or anywhere to answer this question. Are you guys watching the movies along with us? Because I think here on the channel, we're really enjoying the movie club. And I would like it if you guys were also participating. Not so that I can be like, good, you watched that movie. And I have stock in all those movies, but more so that we can have like a conversation.
Yeah, we can take questions.
Yeah, and like in the chat right now, I'm like watching it. And I just like it when you guys have a little bit of extra insight because we're all one giant moving organism who has different thoughts and shit, and it's tight that we can like shoot them boys out and chat up about it.
Yeah.
I read this quote that fucked me up like last night, and I forgot where I read it. I was just like scrolling memes, but it was like about like how life came to be, and it's really just like through a series of explosions, and it's like when an explosion explodes hard enough, dust wakes up and thinks about itself.
Jesus. I also read a whole entire thing about how somebody kept being like, all your bodily fluids is just filtered blood, right? Like you filter blood enough, you get spit or you get breast milk or whatever, right? And then the dude beneath that was like, well, actually, we're all just saltwater imitation. He's like, like before, like humans were a single cell organism. It was like, all the salt water around me, it'd be cooler if it was inside of me and I had a pump to move it around my body. And like, then we get like out of the ocean. It's like, look, I kept my internal ocean with me. I'm so wet and squishy. It was like a whole bunch of reading, but I kept going through and was like, damn, well, that's probably why I like being in the water so much.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What?
I'll send that one to you. I saw it on Imager. Anyway, let us know what you guys think. Make sure you're taking care of your internal oceans. Be safe and watch Ex Machina because we're talking about it next week. Hit the button, Spencer. Hey, gang. Stick around for the Raid Shadowlands.